Welcome to messed up already. Welcome to the Clashing Conferences podcast, the basketball edition. It's a new podcast with some familiar faces and some new faces as well. One of the new faces couldn't show up today. I think he went to prison. We're not sure. We're supposed to get more information on that soon. This is going to follow a lot of the same footprints as the football version of this, and we'll kind of grow it as we go. It might go in different directions, might stay pretty similar. We'll see. It's just some passionate football or basketball fans really giving each other a bunch of shit about their teams. So we're looking forward to that. We'll get into the representatives we have. We have one of the old faces is Topher Pete. He is here representing the Knicks, of course. Obviously, if you remember him, he seems to be a pretty big New York guy. And then we have Mike, your former host of the last podcast. He is here representing the Charlotte Hornets, maybe a little bit against his will, but he is here. And then we have Matt, who is here representing the Celtics. And then our no-show is Tony P. He's representing the Bucks, but he doesn't get to say anything, so we should all give him a lot of shit for this.
Which is unfortunate because Tony P is going to be the star of this show. Yeah. Everybody's going to have to wait a week to meet him. But
yeah. I'm really glad you didn't
he's going to be the star.
Yeah, I'm really glad you didn't say that I was filling in for a guy who's a 76ers fan, because Greg would never let me live that down. But all that being said.
And yes, and Randy's here just filling in to add extra banter, because if you watched the football podcast, he's very good at that. So we brought him in as kind of a mercenary to beat up on these other guys. So let's maybe start with...
Good to see your face and all your chins, Randy.
All right, old man. Let's keep... Good thing you're wearing a hat to hide all that gray hair, bud.
Randy, you should look at other angles.
Buddy. Got a hell of a lot more than me.
That's true.
I'm trying to match your gray hair with my gray hat.
I'll tell you what,
I got a
man.
haircut today just so I would have less gray hairs on our initial podcast.
I can't even see you. I got to blow you up here.
We all can't have Matt's hair.
So let's get into maybe letting you guys talk about what made you a fan of the team you're here representing, what made you a fan of basketball in general, and what passions you want to bring to the podcast. So we'll start with a newcomer, Matt.
So I actually have been living in Massachusetts. That's been the longest, or the place where I've lived the longest. So that's basically how I became a Celtics fan. When I deployed in 2016-17, one of my buddies that I deployed with is actually cousins with one of the producers of the show. He asked me if I was interested in getting involved. I told him absolutely. When I came home from my deployment, I was actually able to surprise my family on a national televised game for the Celtics. And since that time, I've been able to maintain a relationship with the organization, and they have just been amazing across the board. They've done so many cool things for me. My 5-year anniversary, front row tickets to a game, back up on the Jumbotron. And again, I would just love to be able to cap this off with a championship and getting to celebrate with these guys. But either way, I'm here to talk some trash. I'm here to hopefully gas these guys up, watch them finish and win. But also, who knows? So, Tony's not here. Celtics haven't done it in a long time. Fucking Charlotte, who knows? Who knows at this point? So we'll figure it out.
I know one thing: it won't be Charlotte.
Not this year.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Matt. We'll move on. Let's let Mike talk about how much he loves this year's Charlotte's team.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike. You might know me. I hosted the NFL version of the show with Randy and Chris here and a couple of others, and excited to move to this side of things in the basketball show and be a team rep now. I've been said I'm a Hornets fan, which is unfortunate because I probably won't be able to get to talk as much trash as these three other guys representing teams that are all not only playoff teams but NBA Finals hopefuls. I would say for all three of the Bucks, Knicks, and Celtics. I'm not so sure about the Celtics. I'm not so sure about the Knicks. being included with that top tier teams. But Chris and I will get through that over the next couple of shows. But I became a Hornets fan right when they, came out in the mid to late 80s. I think it was probably 86 or 87 when they were first announced as a team, which is really when I was as a little kid coming up, getting into sports. You can see behind me, I'm a Bears fan from 85. I got on that bandwagon. I got on the Mets wagon when they were in the World Series in 86. Hornets were right behind that. They started playing in 88. I kind of jumped on all these bandwagons of the cool hot teams that were playing good or had the cool colors in Charlotte's cases and the cool new team on the market. Kind of got into all those and had a rough ride through the next 30 years or so with those teams, but hopefully, all three of those teams getting some young talent here and, or in the Mets case, some money finally. And, hopefully as an adult here, I'll get some championships eventually and not be living in the 80s anymore. But that's kind of my story. One of my favorite things about being a Hornets fan as a kid was Grandmama. I was a huge Larry Johnson fan when he was at UNLV. I was already a Hornets fan when he got drafted there. I got the shoes, the $100 pair of shoes when I was in like the 7th grade. I thought I was the coolest kid on the block. And I loved those Grandmama commercials as a Hornets fan. And
absolutely.
It was really cool to kind of grow up in that era with the Hornets. So that's my story. Chris, what made you a Knicks fan?
Well, I was going to say you had your Grandma Miles on and your starter jacket and your cool
Damn
colors.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a starter jacket.
You had to. You didn't have to be a Hornets fan to have that jacket. Yeah, well, like Dave was saying, if you followed us at all, I love the Giants. So my love for the Giants, a New York team that I started following, I was probably around 8. They were the main reason why I'm a Knicks fan today. Something I laugh about, because if I heard people say this about football, I'd be like, man, you can't do that. But I actually started out a Bulls fan. I was a Michael Jordan fan. I loved MJ. I got Michael Jordan tatted on my left arm. I played basketball all through school. So of course I liked Jordan. I thought he was the greatest. Loved watching him play. The closest thing to him, I would say, for me, would have to be Kobe. I feel like he plays the same style, has the same killer instinct. That was my first love and why I played basketball. So I followed Mike all the way out until I know he retired. He came back. Even then, I stuck with the Bulls. And then when he hung it up with Chicago and went to the Wizards, I started following the Knicks more or less just because I was a Giants fan. Like I didn't follow the Bulls anymore. I liked that team with Allen Houston and Sprewell and Ewing was Larry Johnson was there. That was awesome. And so I followed that team, and I've been a Knicks fan longer than I was a Bulls fan. So I think I paid my dues. I would love to see them win a title. Got to see my football team win 4. I got to see my baseball team win a couple. I need to see the Knicks win, man. So I really enjoyed doing this with the guys for the Giants and for football. So I was hoping to meet some new friends and carry on and help the podcast grow. And that's why I'm here doing this. And man, you were saying expectations to go to the finals. I don't know if I have expectations to go to the finals, but I was saying it to you guys a few weeks ago. I do feel like in the right situation and everybody back, we can make the Eastern Conference Finals. So that's where I figured Boston would go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'll be battling that with Tony P, I guess, to have the right to play it. That'd be nice.
Is it injuries again, Chris, or what?
Absolutely, buddy. I mean, if you, I know you don't follow basketball, but dude, like ever since I would say middle of January, we've been going 4 or 5 weeks with 3 or 4 starters out on a regular basis. We did get OG Anunoby back tonight. He's starting for the first time. I think it's been 4 weeks for him, and he's starting tonight for us against the Sixers. So I'm excited to get everybody back. I think we'll have a lot of depth in the playoffs. So yeah, Randy, it was basically injuries, but this is different. This is a long season, and we're supposed to get everybody back just in time. So
no, Randy, it's not different. I can give you another analogy. It's the same as the Giants in that the Knicks went out and gave max deals to a bunch of guys who were not qualified for max deals. They're good players, but they're not max deal players. And the Knicks handed them out like cookies You think Randall's a max deal player?
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't. He's one of my least.
You think Brunson's a max deal player?
Man,
if you got it,
That feels like a no.
no.
I think
that felt like a no.
I feel like that's just the way the league is. I feel like Brunson could be. I think he could be an MVP.
No, stop.
You don't think he could be an MVP?
Not
He's
close.
our MVP. We can't win without him. We're not going anywhere.
And that's why you're not going to be in the NBA championship this year, because he's your MVP. You need a guy like Giannis. You need a guy like Tatum.
I agree.
You need a real max player to get anywhere in the NBA, and you guys don't have.
You need multiple players in the NBA, but the Knicks haven't had anything in a long time. So to put something relevant on the court, this is what we got. Like the NBA is like that. You almost know going into the year who's going to the finals in the NBA. You could predict it almost all the time. It ain't like the NFL. I agree with you, Mike. You got to have multiple max players.
Yeah, the West is pretty open, but that's because they have so many legitimate max players in the West right now.
So hold on, to cap all this, it's not about injuries that you just don't have good players.
For us to compete,
they've got decent players.
I'm just giving. Come on, I'm just giving.
Yeah, I mean, we made all these trades. We made all these trades after Christmas, and we went from being kind of where we are right now. We're fourth.
We're kind of where you are right now.
We probably shouldn't be fourth. We if this was the West, where would we be in the West? We'd be probably in the play-in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the West is way deeper. So for us to compete and make it in the top 3 or 4, yeah, we need all of our players. We need our starters. We can't be rolling out with 3 starters out. Yeah, Randall. A couple years ago, I'd be like, yeah, I don't even want Randall. Every time we go to the playoffs, he don't get it done. But we're missing him right now, and I see a big difference when he's not on the court. We need Randall back.
Topher, you do know they made changes though recently, like a couple of weeks ago in the NBA, where they said, as an example, when Bradley Beal got traded to Phoenix, and it was a bunch of players and contracts combined to equal his salary. That now moving forward after this season, teams cannot do that anymore, and that's to try to prevent teams from trading for superstars and creating mega teams and stuff. So a team like yours, where maybe you don't have guys signed to big max deals or home team,
that's going to be what it's going to start looking like again.
Then you're going to be able to, then you're going to actually be able to be big players in free agency down the road, because teams aren't going to be able to trade and swing things the way that they have been recently.
And yeah, we might not have the max players, but what I do like about this team in the playoffs, a lot of teams roll with 7, 8 guys in the playoffs. They don't roll real deep. You see your main guys playing 35, 40. I think we're going to have a deep roster in the playoffs too.
Shoot, Phoenix is out there trying to run with 5.
Yeah, that's another example of why I think this team can do some things in the playoffs, man. I really do. And yeah, we don't have Giannis, but I think we have just as good a shot as them to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I was telling them in text messages, I know you hate them, but I do worry about a team like Miami. I worry about them a little. Come playoff time, man, they're coached well, and Jimmy Butler got that thing, man.
Jimmy Butler has that fire.
It's just different, and I know he's not a max player like you say, but I like the fire Brunson brings on the court, and I cannot wait to the playoffs.
I will give you that.
I got the right people around him.
Brunson has the right mindset. I think he's a winner. I just don't think he has the skill level of a top 10, 15 player in the league is where I'm going with it.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think he's still growing. I think he's finding himself in New York. I do like what he's bringing to him. And once again, it's a totally different team when he ain't on the court. It's awful.
Well, and you're relevant. Like when the Celtics did their rebuild, the only reason why the rebuild went so fast was because they became relevant when they had Isaiah Thomas and all their overachievers and got, you know what I mean? Deep team full of role players that played up their value, and then we were able to trade them and move them and stuff. So you guys might be on the right path, to be honest.
That Celtics team was built the right way, man. They really stockpiled some assets for a couple of years, and it was Danny Ainge's era when he built it. Wasn't he the one that built that pretty much?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So Matt, what do you really think about the Knicks?
I'll give you my honest opinion of the Knicks. They're New York, so obviously, just from being a mass guy, they're the enemy. But I view the Knicks as the Cowboys, where I go, they're gonna fuck it up. They'll do something stupid. And they
That's
haven't
the
won
best
anything since I've been
analogy. Do
alive.
you even know that Randy's a Cowboys fan? That's
No,
awesome.
I know earlier when they were talking, I heard that, but I'll just say I have this. They give me like the same passion of hate that I have towards that franchise. I have the same feeling of like they'll screw it up. It's not a big deal. So if the Knicks were to win or overachieve, I'd be very surprised because I've never seen them do it before.
I'd be very surprised myself. I really don't know how to feel. Right, I'm excited. That's all I can feel right now, and it's good to get some guys back. So,
but I'll be honest, my team, as talented as they are, I'm still scared because I've seen them fold in so many big spots, so many game sevens, so many home court advantage games. And I heard on a podcast the other day, Jeff Teague was talking about when they were on the Hawks, they were beating the Pacers and there was like 2 minutes left. And David West looked over and started yelling like, "These don't know how to win." And Jeff Teague said, "We didn't." And we all looked at each other and said, "We don't." And they lost that game and they lost the next game. And so I think that's the one thing that scares me. Holiday brings some balance to this team, but the rest of them, they haven't won before. And when they get in those big games, we've seen what happens. So
Chris, what do you think about this? Obviously, everybody thinks Charlotte sucks, but Chris, what do you think about the Celtics?
I mean, I know you're not going to get the same reaction out of me at all when it comes to the basketball. The Celtics, like, it's crazy. My dad is a diehard Celtics fan, and I pull for the Celtics when the Knicks suck because of that. And man, they're stacked, man. I just don't know. I feel like they're going to win the East. I feel like they're going to go to the finals. I just feel like when they run into one of them West teams, that's just when it just gets real for them, man. I think they can easily make it to the finals, Randy. I do, and they're a very talented team, and I don't hate them. So that's my truth about this. Yeah.
So obviously, my guy Tony's representing the Bucks right now. Put the Bucks up against what everybody seems to agree the Celtics are the best team. Who's a better team?
Who's Celtics or Bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, Celtics.
You agree,
Celtics. I think the Celtics not only will win the East, but I think the Celtics are good enough to compete with anybody in the West. I mean, the Celtics starting five, man, I'd put them up against any starting five in the league other than maybe Phoenix. I think Phoenix has the best starting five. I don't think they have a 6th, 7th, or 8th player on their team, unfortunately, which is going to kill them when they get to the playoffs. But
right.
The Celtics stack up, man. You those top 5 guys are very, very good. Not just very good, great. And the bench isn't shabby either. I think Celtics can match up with anybody in the West for 7 games. They're not going to get blown out by anybody. I'll tell you that.
Denver scares me because every time we've played them, they're tight games or it's close, and then you just kind of see it. We just at the last second we fold, we turn it over, we do some stupid crap. Again,
got Porzingis this time, though.
But like Brown, the last game, Brown went 7 for 14 from the line, and Jokic went 10 for 10. They lose by a handful, and it's like that's what I mean. That's the difference between an MVP and a champion. Someone that hasn't done that yet, and he's the highest paid guy. So you can't shoot 50% from the line. That's unacceptable. So
both Denver and Jokic know how to win at this point.
Absolutely.
Correct. That's why they scare me.
They're going to be tough. Sorry, I'm actually watching the Knicks right now. We're rolling tonight. Up 17-7 on the Sixers. Good.
You're rolling every night until you lose.
So, Randy, who do you like, Randy?
Well, I guess the Bucks. I mean, if you were to ask me who I liked in basketball, I would. I really don't know. I mean, I've always kind of. I used to always follow LeBron James. Now I think he's a giant douche, but I kind of always liked watching him. I always thought he was really elite, better than Kobe by far. A lot of that kind of. That's my personal opinion. I never really watched basketball. For the most part, I watched a little college basketball. That was about it. But I hate how he was able to switch teams and get championships. That was really frustrating, and it kind of made me sick of him, to be honest. This is weird to say. I would have to say the closest team I've followed probably in basketball is the 76ers, which is really weird. I haven't followed them that closely, and I have a disdain for Philadelphia sports, but I've kind of watched. I guess I feel like they're a little more of a team that has a little more self-made talent or self-grown talent, maybe is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off on that, though.
They were trusting the process.
Sure.
They were losing on purpose so they could get draft picks.
I mean,
I'm a little bit of a Sixers fan. I grew up in the Philly area, and I loved Charles Barkley growing up. Man, he was awesome to root for and watch, and I loved the process. I'm a huge fan of off seasons and team building, and I thought that Sam Hinkie was awesome when he was going through that whole deal where they were acquiring draft picks for a year. It didn't work out the way it should have. But they did get Embiid out of it, and a couple other pieces throughout the years, and I love the
Imagine
Sixers,
if they drafted that, if they drafted well though, because think of all the picks they blew before it.
Ben
Nerlens
Simmons
Noel
should have been good.
Yeah, but Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, Markelle Fultz, number one pick. Ben Simmons, number one pick. If they had done
who was the guy with 3 names
Embiid,
that won Rookie of the Year? Who was a big point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I remember his name? Michael Carter Williams was the first one.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. They missed on a lot, though.
But it had Tatum, right?
Yes. Yeah, we got Tatum out of that.
Yep. They actually didn't they trade up to pass on Tatum? What Jesus?
Yep.
Franchise altering move.
They could have had Embiid, Tatum. They could have had a whole. Yeah, that would have been.
You imagine Embiid and Tatum? We wouldn't be talking about the East being weak if Embiid and Tatum were on the same team. That would be devastating.
We'd probably have a Philly representative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one.
So, Matt,
Greg will be mad when he sees that.
Matt, you never answered the question on the Bucks Celtics thing.
Yeah, but he said he hated the Cowboys. That was good enough for the rest of us.
The Bucks. I think the Celtics have a better team. The Bucks scare me because, again, they have that factor of they've done it. They've been up that mountain. They did pick up Doc Rivers. I think that's an absolute curse to anybody after the 08 team. Anybody that has Doc, you are snake bitten. And I can't wait till Tony gets here so I can just every week just talk about the different nonsense that is occurring on that team. So it's a toss up, but I think that we have a better team and we should beat them, but they're going to be a problem.
Sure.
And Tony might disagree, but you got to show up to disagree. So
that's also true.
They missed out.
I'll disagree for Tony.
Okay.
He's going to be like the Bucks in the playoffs, not show up. Oh.
Or
he's having a department meeting, right? Is that what you guys said?
Or prison, or we don't remember.
Well, I was just curious because I thought his job was just watching a machine just put bags on a conveyor belt. So I'm trying to wonder who he's having meetings with.
The machine.
Yeah. Yep. He got caught taking over that bathroom stall and turned it into his podcast studio.
Jeez.
Cool. All right, should we take a little break and then come back and describe the internal competition that we have?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to us.
Well, make sure you like, subscribe wherever you like and subscribe podcasts. You can listen to it on, I'm pretty sure it's Spotify, Apple, all of them. I think it's even advertised on Tony's OnlyFans. So we can go to break, come back, explain the wheel, and keep moving along.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to the Clashing Conferences podcast, basketball edition. This is the part of the show where we're going to explain our internal competition. So much like the football version of this podcast, we have an internal competition where throughout the course of the season, the guys have opportunities to score points based on a wheel that we will spin every week, whatever the category is that the wheel tells us. We'll tally all that up, and at the end, someone gets bragging rights, and someone, hopefully, Mike gets the bragging rights, and then Here it is. Okay. So I guess we're going to give it a spin and see what it is. And this will be live for next week. We will go over the results of each game and what they are.
Now, is this like fantasy football where like the person at the end that gets the least amount of points is going to get screwed into doing something they wouldn't want? And
we
Sounds
can
like
do
a great
that.
idea. You guys should definitely come up with something.
Depends on if one of the new guys wins or not. We'll let you know.
I like it, Mike.
All right. So for next week, we have 3-pointers by a single player. Now, we've had to clarify this a couple times, but we're going like in a single game, or is it between recording to recording, just so that we get everybody on the same page?
Yeah, I think
It's in a single game.
Yep.
Okay.
Anywhere in between recordings. So we record on Tuesdays. So from Tuesday to the following Monday, those games will count, and any single player in any single game that scores the most 3-pointers will get it. So, if Tatum scores, 6 3-pointers one night this week, and that's the most 3-pointers scored in any game, then Matt will get that point for the week.
So when DiVincenzo goes, 7 for 11, hits 7 in one night. Yep.
Yep, you say
Knicks
what you want, but you better check the stats on how many 3-pointers Davis Bertans is shooting tonight for the Hornets, boy. You better be ready.
Oh man,
is it on? Is it on now?
I'm about to win this quarter. I'm about to win this category with Davis Bertans. Put it on there, stamp it.
What's he doing?
I don't know
right
about
now?
tonight, but
I thought you were like watching right now.
No,
or something.
I got nothing up right now, but this week he's gonna get 5, a single game.
I hope so for
Lock
you,
it up.
Mike.
In this league, everybody's throwing up threes. Anybody can win this.
Shoot, we just got done talking about giving me an extra team. I was going to take the Sixers as my girlfriend team, but I think I'm good with Davis Bertans this week.
I think you have to explain the girlfriend team to everybody who wasn't listening. We were talking about it.
Well, Matt said that we should all pick a second team potentially, and I said that because I rep the Hornets. If anybody's going to get what he quoted as a girlfriend team, it should be me.
But the whole
to be fair, we all agreed that Mike deserves to cheat on his wife.
I mean, the whole thing is there's your wife team, and then you got your girlfriend team. It's like your side gig, right?
Yeah,
but unfortunately, my side gig would be like my main gig because my main gig sucks.
You telling me that no one from Charlotte can throw 3-pointers, Mike?
Well, I just told you.
Okay. My point is, you're right up
you
in
don't
this.
know who he is.
Listen,
Randy still doesn't listen.
Mike, all I'm saying, Mike, is you have just as good a shot as anybody, even though your team stinks and everyone agrees with it.
Just like Paul and the Redskins was doing pretty good early on our NFL podcast.
I don't know if he really did good at all.
I think I'm better.
He started the year pretty decent at the beginning.
Yeah,
of the
Mike,
year. He wasn't way behind.
Mike, a better description is just like Chris Topher, Pete, and his Giants that were terrible all year, but he actually came in second, right?
I won the thing.
Whatever, same thing.
It was controversial.
Don't get it twisted.
Controversial finish.
There was a lot of controversy.
Just because I was right about the
Chris, no one wants to hear it. No one wants to hear it.
If you go back and rewatch the podcast, I was right about almost everything that I said all year. I think I was
except for the Giants
being the greatest quarterback of all time.
I did not even say that, and
he didn't say. He said top 3. He said top 3,
and I'm still right. And I'm still right with why we didn't win. And I'm still
I don't even know if he's a top 3 quarterback on your team. But now we're talking about football again.
That was good. That was good. I'm signing off on the football. We're not talking about the football. I got to call.
Mike, you get a hall pass. That's the moral of the story. Is you get a hall pass. If you want to pick another team, I say do it, especially come playoff time, because all 3 of our teams are going to be.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Come playoff time, I'm going to agree. I might hop on the Sixers wagon, go back to my childhood squad for a little bit, but for now, I'm riding with Davis Bertans. I'm ready this week, man.
Okay, all right. I like it.
And I'm serious. He's been hoisting like 10 3-pointers a game. From 50 feet out. So he's going to have a chance.
Don't you want a good draft pick?
we're going to get a good draft pick.
Hey, they're
I'm
in
not
the
worried about
lottery.
winning games.
Hey, are
What
we?
you got right now?
We would be fourth or fifth right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the lottery is shaped these days, though, I mean, fourth or fifth doesn't have that much worse of a chance of winning the lottery than first through third. First through third is even. You know, if you finish worst, you're not guaranteed top odds anymore. You get the same odds as the second and third worst teams.
Okay.
And then the fourth and fifth aren't that far behind in their percentages to get that top pick or the top pick. So, you know, as long as we finish in the bottom five or so, I'm happy with our draft chances.
Who's your GM?
Does this sound like football again?
No. Who's your GM?
We just made changes there, and I can't give you a name off the top of my head. I mean, just like I'm talking very recently. I think we had oh god, I can't remember who just stepped down. He was very famous GM, and his name is eluding me. I'm going to Google it in a second.
I feel, because again, being from North Carolina, like I have a spot in my heart for Charlotte, but I mean, Jesus, I've never seen a team, and Jordan's my guy, but I've never seen a franchise screw up as many draft picks as they have over the years.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was a fan of I mean, I told you guys all this before. I was a UConn fan and a University of North Carolina fan growing up in different eras for different reasons. But the Hornets drafted some of my favorite players of all time from those two teams. We drafted Emeka Okafor, who was a stud for us for years. He had nobody else around him. We drafted Kemba Walker, whose jersey I'm wearing now, and he was a stud for years for the Hornets. But again, had nobody around him. We drafted from the Tar Heels. We had Raymond Felton and Sean May from the same era. I think they came out in the same draft class, actually. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I actually loved a lot of our drafts. It never got us anywhere, but actual draft nights, I'm like, yeah, we drafted my guy. That's awesome. So
Adam Morrison.
Oh God, that was the one that set us back a decade. The mustache.
Yep.
Is there any more spins on the wheel, Dave?
Yeah, we're going to get 2 more spins, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We'll get the beard of wisdom back.
Mitch Kupchak is our GM who's
soon.
stepping down.
Stepping down. Okay.
Yes. Going to be a consultant as of last month. We got new ownership, so there's going to be a big shakeup everywhere with that organization the next couple months.
Just FYI, we are having technical difficulties with the
China again.
Yeah, we got hacked by China once more. So
this basketball show is not as well produced as the guy who did the football show.
I don't think his heart's in it.
I know.
I got two comments. Like, Mike, you were the fuzziest I've ever seen you. And Chris or Dave, you freeze with your eyes half closed all the time.
I can't
I've seen that a couple of times.
Dude, it's like I've never seen. I'm sitting here giggling every time I see it because it looks like you're drunk off your mind or something.
I got him. He looks possessed. I got him a couple of times with his teeth showing and his eyes were white. He was like, "Okay, Spike Lee, we're whipping your girlfriend's ass tonight, Mike."
All right. Well, hey, if the wheels having issues, I got one I'm going to pull from football. I have a suggestion. Is there Is there spreads in basketball?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, there's spreads.
Okay, so why not do one where you look up the totals? It's going to be a little bit of work, but who has, if you take all the games played, who has covered or not covered? I guess, if you cover the
more spreads.
So no. What I mean is, like, let's say that you play 3 games. I don't know. Is that 3 games a week or something?
It's like 2 or 3 between.
So let's say between the 3 games, you're +4 on the spread. Okay, so it's like a plus and minus on the spread thing. You're looking for the team that has the most plus. If you're underachieving all week, you're at a minus. So go, for the week, you do a plus or minus on the spread.
I like it.
The only problem is, like, does that
the
matter?
Stuff in this brain is just unreal.
We got 4 games this week. Does it matter if we have 4 and somebody else has 3?
It wouldn't matter
it
if you
shouldn't
did
matter,
it plus
no.
minus like he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just on how you were against the spread, and if you came out plus or minus afterwards.
Yep.
Is that
That gives Dave Brand a little bit of homework.
Sounds like it.
But yeah, exactly. So you have one good game, you blow them by 20 or something. You know, you're probably sitting pretty good. But if you lose by 20, you're probably sitting pretty ugly.
Hey,
just
if
the point-
it's the Hornets and your spread was 18, you're only -2.
That's there. Then you're right in it too. You're right in it too, Mike.
Yeah, see, your handicap's going to keep you right in this one.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. I like it.
Well, there's number 2, and if producer keeps having issues with his wheel, I can come up with a number 3.
All right, Randy, what's number 3?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Okay. Well, Matt, you got any ideas for number 3?
I have one. It hasn't been fine-tuned, but I was thinking something along the lines of like every week each person needs to bring like 2 or 3 Mad Libs type sentences, like fill in the blank. So again, like a guy, like someone I would love to murder on my team is, and then I throw that over at Topher, and then he would be like, who has been pissing me off?
I gotcha.
So kind of like you don't know what the hell kind of question is going to come at you, but you have to fill in that blank and give an answer. So
Like Randy sucks blank.
Dak.
Could be anything.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be basketball, but
or like the Bears need a blank. It could be anything.
well, because I know at least with Tony P too, like I could throw if we start doing that, and then it's me asking him something ridiculous, or I could feed it to someone on the side in a text message, but be like, "You should call the cops on a girl that won't leave your living room after how many days?"
Yo, that could be a lot of fun. That sounds like our basketball version of flashing bashing or whatever the hell we were doing.
I was gonna say when you asked him that, I was hoping we would get some flash and bashing going in this, but I don't know if that's just that should be a clash and conferences thing, not just a football edition.
Oh no, we could get into that at some point. You know,
that went pretty well
once we get a couple shows under us and everybody kind of gets to know each other and we get some trash
get comfortable
talk
throwing
on.
haymakers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm drawing a blank as to other stuff. I mean,
I bet ad lib thing sounded pretty cool. I think that would be.
Yeah. But how do you score that on the wheels? What I'm saying?
No, I don't think
you don't score it. I just think it's a cool bit.
I think it would be fun.
Yeah. All I'm saying is you got two wheel things. You need a third one. Obviously, our producer's being interrogated by the Chinese right now. So how do we come up with a? I don't know what if you do total points scored. Mike's at a disadvantage.
I was thinking the same thing actually. Let's use highest points scored. That's such an easy one.
That's an easy one. Yep.
By team
in
a single
game.
game. So if they put up 150 and that's the most that anybody scores, 150 is probably not realistic, but 130 is these days, which is unbelievable.
Did you see that we put up like our lowest? Like, did you see how low the Knicks Sixers were on Sunday?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness, dude! I think it was like, well, I know it was like in the 70s, but at halftime it was like 38. I think we had 38. It was awful. It was just like nobody could hit a shot. It was bad. It was a bad game.
Score.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Oh, yeah, it was awful, man.
So
different tonight.
In the end of it, what we're saying is those are the 3 categories: single, 3-pointers made, your plus or minus on your spread by player, plus or minus on your spreads, and the single highest point scored in one game. That's your 3 categories for the week.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
I'm down with it.
All right. Cool.
Make sure we don't get our spreads from Randy. He makes up his own spreads.
Yeah, where's going to be our legit
It's not
where we
true.
gonna get our spreads? Where we gonna
Just
get our
look at him.
spreads
He
from,
puts
Mike?
spreads on everything.
Oh my god. Mike finds his spread at like exoticgambler.com or something.
Yeah, I think
I
we
just
should
go to
know.
ESPN.
You're not allowed to use ESPN. We already told you that doesn't work.
I know.
Well,
Exoticheavydutygambler.com.
technically, since that minor controversial statement that I made many weeks ago, ESPN has become a formal gambling site called ESPN Bet. So I guess we have to give their lines a little bit more credibility than we did a couple of months
Listen,
ago.
and all I'm saying is cutting edge. Who was reading that shit months ago? Come on, Mike. I was on the
You
cutting
didn't
edge months
know.
ago on that. A bull crap. It sounds like I did.
Weren't you looking on Yahoo Sports
He
Listen,
was looking on
at one
Bing
point?
there was a news
or
article on
AOL
Yahoo.
Randy would show up to our football podcast every week and be like, all right, the Giants are, +4. And I'd be looking at the spread and be like, no, they're not. What are you talking about? So that's where this is coming from.
So where are you going to get them at? Where we going? So we just know wherever. So we're all looking at the same spot. Where you?
Yeah, I think we just have to pick one, whether it be like I don't
Dave,
know. I don't
pick it.
gamble.
Where's the best?
I don't even know one. So
I
I don't
honestly
gamble.
think the easiest thing is to just use ESPN.
Yeah, I know one who knows one. I know someone who knows one. Mike.
Well, I mean, I pretty much have them all. I got the apps for you name them.
Exotic Gambler.
That's why I was asking you.
I think you might need a sponsor.
Oh, yeah. These guys that really know me, and I'm not even sure Chris or Steven qualifies on that, but the people who really know me know I need a sponsor.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun.
Wait till we who's a March? This is kind of off topic, but who's March Madness fan here? Anybody? No college basketball.
I mean,
March Madness.
I like it. I just don't follow college. I don't have time.
Oh, I don't need to follow college for 20 years. I've been taking vacation days that first week and just getting together with a group of people. And Chris has many years been a part of that for at least a day or two of that first 4 days. But that first 4 days for me, that's holiday and Christmas and that and the first Sunday of NFL season. I get hyped for nothing more than those two events, man. I love it.
And you don't text message during a football game ever.
Basketball is a little easier.
Yo, is Embiid ever coming back? You guys really think he's coming back this year?
Yeah.
No.
Really? I'm starting to think
he's too injury prone. If he comes back and rushes it and gets hurt.
I'm not saying he's not going to get hurt again.
I'm starting to think he's not coming back.
Ever?
Like this year. Like this season.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Possible.
Yeah, I just been like, and I hope he don't come back. Like, I really don't want to, yeah.
I want to take back what I said earlier, though. If Embiid doesn't come back, the Sixers are not my girlfriend.
She's not your girlfriend anymore.
You go shopping?
I was kind of setting you up a little bit. I was trying to get you really to commit there. Like,
I'm picking somebody in the West if Embiid's out.
Man, I just don't like. I'm just now getting like I'm glad you were talking to me about the whole about the draft and how like the lottery and how it changed a little bit. But and then you were telling us about Matt. You were telling me about how they ain't gonna be able to build a super team. So I've been out of the loop of basketball. Like that's the other reason why I kind of. I mean, I always follow it, but I don't follow like I follow it, like the Giants. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the one thing I really don't know a lot about is the play-in tournament, man. Like just the recent play-in tournament stuff. Like I don't really know anything about that. Like all I remember is the Lakers saying, like Kobe saying, I wouldn't hang anything like that. Like we don't hang that up in here when we win it. Like it's not real. Like Barkley said, it's not real. Like I don't know anything about it.
We're trying to. I don't know why. I mean, I understand the expansion of the worldwide brand and all that, but we're trying to emulate more like European soccer and doing like these in-season tournaments and things like that. And
yeah, I might have messed that up you got what I was saying. There's that mid-season tournament, and then you got this play-in at the end.
Both of them, yep.
Like it's all like that's why I love Barkley. Like I was saying, Mike, when you were talking about it, like I'm not a Philly guy, but I loved Barkley growing up, and like that's one of my favorite. Like listen to him and Ernie and Shaq and them guys together. Like I love that. But Barkley just keeps it real. And like the other night, he was like, "It don't count. It's phony." Like because it wasn't like that when we grew up. It wasn't like that when they played. Like it's just the league's a lot different, man. Just a lot different.
It's all changing because again,
struggling with it.
Streaming services and stuff like that. What was it? The NFL game, one of the playoff games. It was on NBC or Peacock.
Crazy.
And I remember I was like, "Get the hell out of here!" I'm not like, dude, no, not in a million years would I subscribe to this thing for a football game. And then they were like, record sales. It was like, oh,
I did it.
Watch.
I did it for Josh Allen.
Super Bowl. They're going to start charging.
And aren't there's Apple TV games this coming season, I think I saw too.
Yep. Prime and all.
For NFL.
Yep.
And it's bullcrap because like I already buy season tickets to the Giants. And then because I live in this area, I got to buy like everything because I don't want to miss a single Giants game.
Yep. But one will be on this stupid thing that you have to purchase.
There's that one night that I'm going to have to watch them. Like I got to hope it's a home game. Yep. So I'll be there.
Or you do the trial and then have to remember to cancel it before they charge your card.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Or you pay like $150 for a Fire Stick that's broken, and then you never pay for any sports ever again in the rest of your life.
Not sure we should broadcast that, but we get you.
Yeah, let's talk about that after the pod. Because I want
just saying, there's cheaper ways to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Says the most like freaking technologically challenged person I've ever met.
Yeah, I know how to watch free TV though, Randy.
All right.
I love it. Love it.
Out of necessity, he had to learn things.
All right. Well, I guess we
cool.
got
Well, yeah, I think we're in a good spot. We have our categories. Anybody want to make some closing arguments or just take some shots before we shut her down?
Yeah, just that Randy Sock's going to be good to get rid of him and have Tony P back next week. And no, Randy, it's good to have you. Appreciate you coming on. It's always good to see you. And look forward to seeing you next week, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have something I'd like to add. This was an absolute shit show.
I think we did great.
Yeah, everybody did good, but you pretty much.
I know. I can't wait to release this, everybody. So thank you.
You'll be able to clean it up.
I'm even going to leave this bit in with me. I mean, let's just own it. It is what it is.
Keep a little dirt in there.
Way to kick it off. Randy, thank you for joining.
I love what sports does to middle-aged like straight men. Like I heard people calling people studs and stuff, and it's all okay. It's so weird.
Let's just call it for what it is. What does sports do to middle-aged, overweight, broke, freaking males? Okay,
heart attacks.
That's what it is right here. Balding too.
Heart disease.
Randy, thank you. Randy, thank you for jumping in.
I put on some weight after hanging out with them guys on the other podcast.
Mm-hmm. And just
wait, hold on. It was a shit show, like from a logistical standpoint, or
I think every single aspect possible. But I loved it.
I'm
releasing this as is.
I think primarily, Steve, you're talking about from your end, not from anyone in particular, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always selfish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You need him to have an ending.
Yeah. At this point, however, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
And on that,
if you're still watching now,
right?
Thank you very much.
We got you forever.
Yeah, you're real ones for sure.
Make sure you come back next week.
Come back next week. Like, subscribe.
Smash that like button. Go Knicks.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good seeing you guys. Have a good rest of the week, man.
Later.
You cutting, Steve?
Yup.